And here's a MSI showroom for you guys. Came this morning and forgot my coffee cup somewhere. I'm gonna see if it's still here, right there. And nobody touched it. That's fantastic. MSI did a great job at showing off the entire family of graphics cards. Here we're looking at the Supreme series. No, we're looking at some of the Supreme series, some Vanguard, and some Gaming Trio, as well as some Ventus. There. Ventus being the more, how to say, budget-friendly kind of graphics card. Doesn't take away the fact that this is a 5090 and it's very resilient, but you're gonna have a little bit less shine, a little bit less metal, a little bit more plasticky feel to it. Here we're going into the Gaming Trio, which is basically the same Ventus PCB with a more dressed up packaging. Now, in the Vanguard, the VRM has been reinforced. We have better chokes. It's a much more expensive product, but the finish try to represent that premium pricing. And finally, the Supreme, which is about the most expensive category you will find into the MSI catalog. We have some nice sanded metal right in front of our fannery, and that gives that a little bit extra premium touch to it. What is nice in the MSI stand is that not only can you look at all the graphics cards they have, but they're not under glass, and you can just take them and play with them. They kind of trust you with it, so that's pretty nice. They shouldn't trust me. So these are free samples that are proposed to all the viewers. If you want to take some and bring some back home, I'm certain it'll be fine. They replace them every 5 minutes. As it was very nicely pointed to my friends over there, we can do whatever we want with a graphics card. Those are fine. That's okay. That is not. The Kinder Surprise, don't touch it. MSI was kind enough to undo and show us the underlying of their graphics card. And here we see the beautiful fin array cooling system of what seems to be a Supreme 5090 OC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 millimeter wide copper pipe, relieving the main plate, the main die plate of all the excess heat. We can also appreciate how thick it is. The 5090 active cooling system is no less impressive with 3 large ball-bearing 120 millimeter fans. A look of the backplate. Here we stand the Supreme series with an active all-in-one liquid cooling. It seems to be a 360 millimeter long radiator and 1 extra fan directly attached to the graphic card's front cooling system. Here a little closer look to our graphics card. Beautiful. So nice to have the freedom to just go very close to them, to look at them, to touch them. So here we're going to take a look at the newest additions to MSI motherboard. Family of motherboards, we're looking at the B850 series, the usual suspect, the Edge, the Tomahawk, a Carbon, and another Tomahawk, but that one is not a B850, it's an X870, so we're going to stay on the Tomahawk Max and the Edge. One of the main differences you're going to see between those two, other than the chipset and some features disappearing, is the fact that now we only have one latched M.2 solid-state drive. All the others are going with screws. We're going back to a less DIY-friendly design, which is kind of sad. But we do retain, and that is pretty cool, the lock-unlock mechanism that we've seen with the new X870 series, and we are losing the QLED screen. On the back I/O, well, the difference is quite drastic. The two motherboards behind our X870 e-powered motherboard, there is much more USB peripherals than on the B850. This is a big also price difference, so we're going to go on the essentials with the B850 and a little bit more featured equipped when you go to X870E. There you go. The good news is that the USB 4 are remaining in place on the B850, two of them, and we're gonna have to see and wait if we have some awkward PCIe bifurcations in their cases. As soon as I get back to the studio, I'll make sure to review these models ASAP, at least before February. Could not resist but to show you what a white Tomahawk would look like. I've reviewed probably 50 or 60 Tomahawks in my days. This is the first time I see it in white. It's quite striking. It reminds me a little bit of the Strix ROG F or A when they came in white, but this one is much more impressive. Since we're talking about the Z890 chipset, a full-fledged model, not a B series, you can see that the latches are here for the two M.2 solid-state drives, or the three of them here, and we still have some screws here in the middle for the centered M.2 solid-state drive. Probably 6 PCB layers. This would not have changed, I believe. You'll remember that one that we reviewed a few weeks ago. And finally, the pièce de résistance, la crème de la crème, the project. I think it's 0X, which is a full prototype. It's not something you're going to find in the commerce, but went a step ahead to the Project Zero we had reviewed a few months ago. We're looking at a fully dressed, with what may be and seems to be a very thick piece of aluminum. So that's all passive cooling. Well, always been passive cooling, but here in a much more obvious and impressive way. One thing was really cool here is that the back I/O is divided in two parts and tethered and not attached to the motherboard right here. The upper side is all the connectivity and bandwidth-centric plugs, and below is back I/O, which is attached to the graphics card. Because once it's under glass, well, you will have no access to the graphics card itself. Not something you're going to be seeing anytime soon, but an interesting prototype nevertheless. On the other hand, you will have your more classic Project Zero right here. Let me put some light on that one. There you go. You will recognize the model that we had reviewed a few months ago. A bit less striking once you've seen the Project X, the Project Zero X, but nevertheless gorgeous and beautiful and desirable. And in my new series, I'll never own it because it's just way too expensive. Here's the Overpower with innovation. I don't know who chose that name. Somebody with a lot of innovation and imagination in mind. We have a couple of whatever screens here, connected somehow with a little dragon roaming in there. We got a bunch of fans right there, down and up. Graphics card right here. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it is impressive. Very bronze, very Victorian, very nicely done. We are going to take a look at a second monstrous build. And the glass, so we're gonna have a bunch of reflection here, but you can still see what they went for. The center core is made of two 5000 series with a gigantic MSI Meg OLED cooler right in the center, and we have no less than 4, 8, 12, 16, no sorry, 15 120 millimeter fan, which I believe is, well no, it is more for the show than anything else, since our graphics cards are themselves not water cooled, huh? So it's just here for show. But it looks great. It still is digging for this Victorian look, lots of gold, lots of shiny, gold, and expensive. That's what they went for. And here we are, the Asus stand, which undoubtedly will want to scan me. You all wanted it, and here it is, the Asus stand. A bit packed, but bear with me. So here we're looking at the new B860 series, that one at least, the tough. Very, very nice, a little bit different than all the tough. You will remember the board we reviewed just a few weeks ago, the Z890 tough, the white version of it. And here we got a very weird looking tough. I've never seen something like that. This is a B850, the new series of it, which are being released in the next few days. So here a little sneak peek of what's going to populate my nightmares for the next few months, the B850 series. The TUF apparently has 8 PCB layers, that's what I've been told, is being verified. If that was the case, that'll be a very good sign, a very good news for all of us, meaning that we really don't have to go on the Z or the X series anymore. We can save a couple $100 and just stay on the B series. A spot 2 USB vintage plugs, always wonder why they're still here, but they're here. We have a nice 2.5 gig. It's a budget motherboard, so I'm not surprised. We have one 20 gig Type-C. That's always nice. We're losing the fast charging ability, I'm afraid, but the Wi-Fi 7 is right here and keeping us warm in our long winter evening. I really like the little shine, the plastic. Is it plastic? Yeah, there's a little plastic plate. Of course, obviously not as premium as having aluminum, but you know, depending on what the price range will be, I'll buy it. We have our nice little Q latch right here and a bunch of VRM. I love the block. The block has this large radiating roof. That's what I wanted to see. A very nice thick wall for heat harvesting right there. We have a very nice unconnected yet very dense side block. Like that a lot. The chassis, I don't recognize the chassis. What is that?
This is
Fractal.
That's by Fractal.
Okay.
Fractal makes lovely cases.
TUF does as well.
Even at
Very nice power supply units. ROG is getting better and better in making an otherwise hidden product a real showcase of what premium chip should look like. We got our 1590s. Oh my god, this is so heavy. This is probably like 2.5 kilos, maybe 3. I have no idea. I can see the Finare cooling system right here. They do not have them on display, but we can nevertheless take a peek at what it looks like. They're very thick. They're very, very thick. So something who's going to do, I'm sure, a good job at keeping this heat spaghetti monster away from us. I can see an RGB strip right there. That's pretty nice. Here's a wall of the motherboards. They look amazing, it looks great, it's all around the place. Here we got a beautiful Strix. Really nice one. That is a new B850. That's the one I'm going to be reviewing in a couple of weeks. And Juan! Beautiful. We got her. Now the only question is, how many PCB layers? It looks like the back I/O is really thick, so that's a good sign. We're gonna have a bunch of features behind there hidden. I love the Strix. The white theme is really nice. It's a very nice base for a good monochrome build right here, right there. The Q latch is in place. The rest is all screwed in. There is no discussion about that. And we have the Strix for the one who dare. I love the fact that we have a bunch of them here. Look at that, another B850 Strix hidden in plain view. Oh, that is nice. Now, who wants a Z series when you have B series as sexy and as well equipped as those ones? I wonder. I like how the sanded aluminum gives place to to different kind of contrast and give us this Strix logo or writing just on the side. It's all about angles here. Look at that. Beautiful. This is exciting. It's exciting for me, it's exciting for you, it's exciting for absolutely everybody. The VRM seems very well populated. I think that if it is anything like the BTF we just saw, those are all 80 amps power stages. Yep, 14 plus 2 plus 2. So it's fair to say that those 3 Strix right there are all 14 plus 2 plus 2 in 80 amps PSPs. And here's the motherboard. The ROG Z890 Hero BTF. Oh, love of my life, don't hurt me. This is gorgeous, look at that. I mean, I'm sure it's not as useful as it should be, but come on, having this huge OLED screen right there on your processor. And look at that one, look at that one, look at it dancing. Oh. 22 hours in a flight, in a plane, stuck for 2 nights in London. well worth it.